So today Andre Onana arrives in Manchester United for his medical, and because of that Manchester United have stepped up their pursuit of Rasmus Hojlund, with credible sources saying the deal is very much underway. United are closing in on a deal for Rasmus Hojlund. It's come out today from a very good source, but Manchester United closing in on a deal normally translates for another 3 weeks of negotiations. Now I'm going to talk about all the latest on Rasmus Hojlund because that is moving quickly, all the latest on Andre Onana, as well as a bit of a takeover update. Obviously, the feeling is with those in Qatar, there's a suggestion in the media that they are getting fed up. They think the Glazers are using them. They think the Glazers are playing them for a bigger bid, and we will get right into that. But we're going to start with the Hojlund news, then we'll get into Qatar news, and then we'll get into Onana news, because the Onana news is like, one source is saying Onana's on the plane right now, and I'm recording this late Monday night to go out Tuesday morning. Another source is saying Romano, a better source, is saying no, Onana gets on the plane Tuesday morning. But by the time this video is out, it will be Onana day, it will be Onana on the plane day. But let's talk about Hojlund, and then we'll talk about the takeover, then we'll talk about Onana. So it was said on Rasmus Hojlund today by James Ducker, that Manchester United are expected to intensify their pursuit of Atalanta striker Rasmus Hojlund once they wrapped up a 43 million deal for Inter Milan goalkeeper Andre Onana. Now, Andre Onana to Man United is pretty much wrapped up now, coming for his medical. Also, I do apologise if the audio in this video is quite quiet. I'm just filming this late at night, so I don't want to shout and wake people up. It's a bit of a late night video. But James Ducker also said Manchester United have already informed Atalanta during initial talks that they are not interested in taking players in exchange for Hojlund and want a straight cash deal. Atalanta are thought to have slapped an £86 million price tag on Hojlund. So United did try and play off the Hojlund deal by offering people like Donny van der Beek, offering people like Fred, and even reportedly offering Mason Greenwood in a deal for Rasmus Hojlund, but Atalanta have made it clear they want money. Now, James Ducker is saying Atalanta want £86 million, and Fabrizio Romano is saying no, they want €70 million, which is about £60 million. I think £60 million, if it's including add-ons, is a little bit pricey, but I'm not going to lose sleep over that. 86 million is an absolute joke. I think 50 million is a fair price. Now, every day MUFC put out a good tweet kind of analysing these price tags and why he thinks the United sources are claiming the price tag 86 million, when Fabrizio Romano, the tier 1 source, is saying the price tag's about 60 million. Just a second. But I want to get into the big story from Chris Wheeler, who did say this. Breaking: Manchester United are closing in on a deal for Rasmus Hojlund. Now, Chris Wheeler literally tweeted this last night. Breaking: United are closing in on a deal for Hojlund. A lot of people getting excited, a lot of people getting giddy in the United fan base, like, oh, Alice, we're closing in on a deal for Hojlund, like it's moved. No, it's moving. Man United closing in on a deal for a player means another 2-3 weeks of negotiations with Slow-Chester FC. And the reason I think there's going to be another few weeks of negotiations is partly going to be explained by this tweet by Everyday MUFC that I want to read out, because I think he hit the nail on the head. He said, "I think the Rasmus Hojlund deal will get done, and I will be absolutely over the moon if it does. Currently, The Athletic are reporting that Atalanta are demanding £85 million for the Danish centre-forward, but many Italian reports stating the player could be available for €50 to €70 million, with Romano mentioning €70 million price tag consistently, and I think United wouldn't be negotiating with Atalanta if the fee was actually £85 million. I think we would have a big brief where we'd announce we'd walk away from the deal. Similar to Harry Kane personally, I feel United are briefing a higher price for 2 reasons. 1, to show they're better at negotiating if the deal ends up cheaper. 2, to delay the deal slightly, allowing United to generate finance through sales to fund the move. Hopefully movement in the next few weeks." And I think this is a really good analysis of the situation. He's basically saying, we know from Romano the price tag is probably going to be about £60 million and not this £86 million price tag. United might be briefing to their sources, because it's United sources, James Ducker, The Athletic, that keep talking about this £85 million price tag. United might be briefing this to their sources so they can claim that they got the price tag down from £80 to £50 million or £80 to £60 million to prove they're better at negotiating. We know Ed Woodward, his negotiating skills have set back United many years in the transfer window. We did negotiate Mount down, or we did get Onana at a good deal. We know that John Murta and Richard Arnold are trying to restore a reputation of not being mugs, having paid 80 million for Maguire and 80 million for Anthony. And that could be one reason, but he's saying the second reason he thinks United are doing this is because they need an excuse to delay the Hojlund deal, because realistically, they've got Onana, they've got Mount, they haven't sold anyone. We are near the end of July, we've not sold anyone. Henderson's set to be sold to Nottingham Forest, but their suggestion is maybe United can't actually pursue Hojlund till Henderson is sold, till Elanga's sold, till Fred's sold, because United keep mentioning sell to buy, we need to sell. So their suggestion is potentially we're just holding this off, we're going to pretend they're asking for a ridiculous price tag and we're negotiating it down so we have time to sell some players before we move for Hojlund. What we do know about Rasmus Hojlund is he's desperate to come to United, he will push for the move, and Chris Wheeler's saying we're closing in on a deal. I don't think we're closing in on a deal. I'd be very, very shocked if we are closing in on a deal like Chris Wheeler's saying, because I know how long United take, and I think with this price tag being quoted by United sources very different to Romana's quote, I think United are probably going to look to sell players first. Now, we talk a lot about the transfer window, but transfers, I think, are starting to distract people a little bit from the takeover. It's been 8-9 months. We've not heard much on the takeover. Now, Matt Slater, who works for The Athletic, went on Stretford Paddock today, and he didn't say that this was news. He was just saying this is a rumour. This is kind of this is an opinion based off what he's heard about Qatar. And he pretty much suggested that, you know, the Qataris feel they've been taken for mugs. The Qataris feel like the Glazers are trying to mug them off. This takeover's gone on 8-9 months, and that the Qataris feel that the reason it's gone on 8-9 months is potentially because the Glazers know that Qatar can pay more. The Glazers know that Qatar could pay $6 billion up front and wipe out the debt, but Qatar have bid $5.5 billion just to match Jim Ratcliffe's offer. And the Glazers know that Qatar have the money, they can pay $6 billion, and that they think that the Glazers are dancing around hoping that Qatar will up their bid and pay the $6 billion they want. Qatar obviously don't want to go in and go, boom, here's your $6 billion, because if Qatar go, boom, here's your $6 billion Glazers, when Qatar wants to invest in other stuff or buy other stuff, then everyone's going to know, oh, Qatar will cave. They've got to keep their reputation of being good negotiators. Qatar have the money for anything in the world, but they still want to get things at a good price, not just overpay. So if they overpay for United in other business lands, people could take advantage of them. And Qatar reportedly, and this is again a rumour, this isn't a news, but he went on the Stretford Paddock and says Qatar feel like they're being taken for mugs. The Glazers know that Qatar can pay more. They think it's a waiting game to try and get them to pay more, but they don't want to lose their reputation as well. And if they overpay for United, they have to overpay for other deals. So that was the feeling how Qatar feel on takeover. They feel that the Glazers want them. They feel the Glazers will accept them. They feel they will be the new owners, and their bid matches Sir Jim's. But they think the Glazers could be delaying to get bigger bids. And I wouldn't be totally shocked if basically the reason it has gone on so long is because they just want to see if Qatar are going to cave and bid that bit more, or Jim Ratcliffe's going to cave and bid that bit more, see if they can get a little bit more. Because we obviously spoke to a good source, and they said, that both bids are all right, but none of those bids stand out, and they're not exactly what the Glazers want, and the Glazers thinking they can play a game for a little bit more. Because at the end of the day, all the Glazers do care about, unfortunately, is money. That is the Glazers, that's how they work. It's how much money can we make out of Manchester United, and unfortunately, that is the truth. Now, what else was said in the world of United? What else was said in the news? What was said on Andre Onana? Well, Di Marzio has said all signed between Inter and Manchester United for the transfer of Andre Onana. It's 55 million euros, which includes the bonuses. So that's about 45 million pounds, or like just over 45 million pounds including bonuses. So United are only paying about 42 million pound up front for Andre Onana, which I think is a very good deal. Now, some Italian sources saying Onana is on the plane right now, and I'm filming this last night. I'm filming this late Monday night to go out Tuesday morning. So I was also saying Onana is on the plane to United right now. But Romano said that's not the case. He will be getting the plane on Tuesday. So I'm going to go and believe Romano over other Italian sources, because we know Italian sources can be a bit dodgy. There was Italian source saying that Newcastle put a 90 million bid in for Qatar Helia, and Newcastle about to sign Barella. We've had Italian sources tell us for ages that we're about to sign Hojlund and Onana, and I think Italian sources have been right that we probably will sign Hojlund or Onana, but they're the type of people that have been telling us it's a done deal for weeks. Italian sources told us that Kim and Jay had picked United, and Italian media love using United's name for clicks, but we do know generally Onana is done, pending medical. We know that Rasmus Hojlund, essentially is going to be the next deal. That is well underway. United reportedly closing in on that deal, as Chris Wheeler said. That means United are going to take a couple of weeks. We know what United like, and we know that Amrabat will be next. But obviously sales are going to depend. We've got to get players out. And we know that United are generally in for those players. And I do think we could be in for a shock transfer in August. And hopefully some breaking takeover news soon. It's been so quiet on the takeover that maybe one day we're just going to wake up when we're least expecting it. Hopefully just get that Ornstein bomber, which probably won't come from Ornstein, it'll probably come from Reuters or someone. And it's just going to drop, bang, 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 Qatar, boom. Hopefully not the Glazers thing, hopefully not Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with the takeover. But anyway, guys, this is Onana Day, Onana Medical Day. I'll probably do a video later talking about the Onana Medical, and also probably talking about how United are going to line up tomorrow versus Lyon in their next preseason game. And then obviously, of course, I will be doing more updates on Hojlund, Takeover, Onana and more. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. Thank you for watching today's video. I've got an interesting video on Harry Maguire that I want to release as well at some point. See you next time. Bye.